A lot of Amazon sellers are fearful of Shopify.
Not only are you paying Amazon a bunch of fees, you're missing out on the most important metric in our Shopify world, which is lifetime value. That doesn't mean on Amazon you're not going to have repeat customers. You are, but you're not going to have an email list of people who can't wait to hear from you. In the Shopify world, that's one of the key things that we think about is like building your own list and how much value that brings. As you build your email list, it becomes like an ATM. One of the things I just realized talking with a business who's like wildly successful on Amazon and they want to build their presence on Shopify is how they approach business. It's not like building a brand. It's like choose a product that sells.
A lot of people think that way, choose the product and they forget about the brand. Wrong way of thinking.
But I think the biggest difference with the Shopify side is it's not really like product first. It's more like solution for a specific audience first.
You're watching Marketing Misfits with Norm Farrar and Kevin King.
Norm, what's up with all these Canadians in e-commerce? Why is there so many Canadians just like doing well in e-commerce? Is it something about the snow? Like you can't go outside and there's nothing else to do?
That's exactly it, Kev. You've been in Montreal in the winter time. We stay huddled inside. We order our Tim Hortons in like to the house, and we just do e-com. That's it. That's what we do.
I remember that hotel that we were staying in. They had these like double doors, and that you walk in. There's like a little, what do they call that? It's not a lobby, but it's like a little foyer that there's nothing in it. It's just empty. And then there's another double doors that actually goes into the lobby of the hotel to protect the cold wind from coming out. But we would come in off the street and go in there, and that first set of double doors off the street would open. It was like a blast of freaking heat. It's like a furnace, like in your face. Remember that?
I remember that.
Thank God, because it's freezing my you-know-what off outside.
Especially like when we opened up the door the first time and you weren't expecting it and the wind came in and you went back and you did a somersault. Remember that?
Why didn't you get that on video? Why did you not get that on video? Because nobody believes it. Nobody believes it, Norm. You should have got that.
It was a perfect 10-point stance. You just did to the somersault and right back up on your legs.
I did a double in the air.
Yeah, it's very good.
And nobody believes me. They're like, yeah, right. It's like, no, Norm, back me up. But yeah, that's crazy. But e-com is changing right now. I mean, both of us come from the Amazon world, and there's a lot of people that when they started selling on Amazon because Amazon had the traffic. Amazon was like all these people were teaching Amazon. But there was this little silent Canadian company called Shopify that was just kind of in the background, just slowly growing. And our guest today is the foremost expert on training people on Shopify. Just like you and I have trained thousands of people on Amazon, he's trained thousands of people on how to sell on Shopify. And now the Amazon people, it's kind of interesting. I'm sure we'll talk about it. The Amazon people are like, hey, I need to be on Shopify. And the Shopify people are like, I've never been on Amazon. What do I do? And so it's like this marriage or this cross-pollination happening right now, which is pretty interesting.
And then, of course, there's the little-known LLMs. They're all trying to, optimize their stores on Shopify and Amazon, but they're forgetting that other side. So that's kind of creeping up behind them, right?
Yeah, and Shopify right now, if for those listening, some of you may be coming from Amazon or listening to this, if you're not on Shopify, you're I think it's a massive mistake because Amazon has blocked off access to the LLMs and the ChatGPTs and Perplexities to their site. They don't want them indexing their site to protect their ad revenue. But Shopify is open. They're like, come on in, and we'll help you find it. So you can optimize on LLMs now to actually sell on Shopify and own that whole customer journey. And I saw the little demo video that they released back when they announced this, and it's fully integrated. You don't even have to go to the Shopify.com site. It's fully integrated within ChatGPT. So the opportunities here as these LLMs are becoming more and more of the default where people go to search, it's even more important than ever to be on Shopify. And I'm sure our guest today has some opinions on that too.
Yeah, and I can't wait to talk to him. I met him a couple years ago, and we became good friends. He's a friend of both of ours. And when I first met him, he was just talking about this agency that he had, and he was trying to expand it. And now I think Socialite is one of the biggest agencies out there and one of the most well-known. And it was Agency of the Year back in 22 with Digital Marketer. So that's quite the accomplishment. But he always goes on tour. He's talking, I think he said every 2 weeks somewhere. But let's bring on Scott Cunningham. He's a great guy.
I thought Socialite was a drink. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. It is a drink. I'm looking right here. It says Social Light.
There's a Socialite vodka. I think it's at some point.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
How you doing? Good to have you, Scott.
Oh, so good. Pleasure to be here with both of you guys.
All right. So just I'm gonna get you. See what's happening, Scott? My glasses are getting steamed up because you're
He's
on.
got you steamed up because he's on. Norm's all excited.
that's right. I'm all excited. You know what? I love talking to you. You've always got something different on the go, and you're going for it. Like there's a lot of people out there that have great intentions but have no actions. You are the most action-oriented guy I know. Like you do something, you're in with 2 feet. Every 2 weeks, you're out there on tour doing and trying to bring people into your market mastery course, correct?
You're steaming up. I'm tearing up over here. I appreciate that you recognize that. We do place a gigantic focus on innovation. And so we're always trying to do better with all the solutions we provide, understanding what's working in the market, and just like pushing the envelope to help everybody do better more easily.
All right. So, and a couple of other things that I don't know a lot of people know, but check out, just go and check out Scott. Like one of the other things, you're one of the, and when I say the very few platinum partners with Klaviyo, there's only a handful out there. It's not like they give this out to anybody, but it's quite the accomplishment to get that.
That's hard. They make you jump through a million hoops, climb giant walls, swim through choppy waters.
Yeah.
You make it happen.
All right, Kev, take it from here.
Oh, you got to go wipe your glasses, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Keep your hands up, Norm. Keep your hands up.
Okay.
So what is the big difference? I mean, just for those listening, some of our audience is from the Amazon world. So what is when someone comes from Amazon and they've been selling there and they say, hey, I need to do Shopify, and they reach out to your program.
Merchant Mastery. Yeah.
Merchant Mastery. I have Market Masters on my mind. Merchant Mastery. What's the biggest eye opener for someone that's been selling, say, on an Amazon or another platform that drives the traffic and has all this built-in stuff versus going to Shopify? What's the big eye opener for them? So
I just learned this. That's a good question, right? I just learned this within the last couple of weeks talking to some like really prominent Amazon sellers who I met. Norm's right. We are traveling a lot right now. We were just hosting Shopify meetups in Calgary and Vancouver and Toronto last week. We're going to Montreal next. And I get to meet so many different merchants, like a lot of people who are seasoned on Shopify, but a lot of people who are like Shopify curious and they have more experience selling on Amazon. And I got to like intimately chat with some people on Amazon. And one of the biggest differences I started to notice, and I've known this for a while, like I've known both of you guys for a couple of years now, right? And and I look at you guys as like the Amazon nerds who know more than I know about Amazon, but I still like learn new things talking with people who sell on Amazon. And so one of the things I just realized talking with a business who's like wildly successful on Amazon and they want to build their presence on Shopify is how they approach business is more like, it's not like building a brand. And correct me if I'm wrong here. This could be a good conversation. A lot of people who start on Amazon or sell on Amazon, they're not thinking, and I could be wrong, they're not thinking I want to build this like household name type brand that has like a following. So a lot of people, maybe it's just the people getting started on Amazon. It's like choose a product that sells. Right?
A lot of people think that way. Choose the product and they forget about the brand. Wrong way of thinking.
Okay, so yeah, maybe this was just an example of someone who was like new to the Shopify world, but maybe also new to Amazon. I don't know. But I was really surprised where it's just like, hey, Scott, I have this one product. I do like $200,000 a month on Amazon, but how do I choose my next product on Shopify? And they were stuck thinking about how they choose products on Amazon, where it's like search for trends, search for what people are searching for, pick a product, sell it, and then other people start selling it, and then the prices just drop, and then it's like a race to the bottom, and then pick another product. And so you could correct me on that whole train of thought on Amazon, but I think the biggest difference with the Shopify side is it's not really like product first. It's more like solution for a specific audience first. Okay. And so you're not like, I just need to fix the next product. You're usually like, I recognized that this was a problem in the market. Like most founders who I work with who sell on Shopify, it's usually that story. Oh, I was so frustrated with this one thing. And so they are like discovering the best solution themselves as founders, where they're like, I was just talking to an amazing woman this morning who I met at Ecom North in Toronto last week. And she's doing like 250K organically on Shopify. So no paid ads yet. And I was like, when did you have the idea for the business? And she has like this towel that helps with like women's hair and damp and curls and all this. And she's like, I just noticed it's like damp weather in Toronto. I was having this issue, like lots of moisture and humidity. And I thought, why is there no options that help me with this? So a lot of people are like identifying a problem in the market, coming up with the best solution that they couldn't find themselves. And so there is a lot more like, I'm a founder who set out in the world to solve this thing for a specific market type folks that I meet more often. That doesn't mean that you like just because you started on Amazon and you were like product minded over there, doesn't mean you can't develop some type of story. But I know this is where the conversation might end up today, is because this is what I talk a lot about when we're touring and everywhere, is like on Shopify, because you're out there solving a big problem for the market, you want to be using story to attract audiences, build credibility, and ultimately sell. And so because I think, with Amazon owns the customer relationship. They own the email list. On Shopify, we don't have the advantage of tapping into a marketplace like Amazon. We got to go out there and find our customers, which is an expensive task. But we have the opportunity to build loyalty right out of the gate. And often some of the best ways to do that is your story, like why you set out to achieve this, why you set out to create the best option for your customers. But in doing so, you build loyalty, you build an email list, you build a community, you build people who trust you, look to you for guidance, and you build a lot of retention that way.
Hey, Norm, you'll love this, man. I talked to a seller the other day doing $50K a month. But when I asked them what their actual profit was, they just kind of stared at me.
Are you serious? That's kind of like driving blindfolded.
Exactly, man. I told them, you got to check out Sellerboard, this cool profit tool that's built just for Amazon sellers. It tracks everything like fees, PPC, refunds, promos, even changing COGS during using FIFO.
Aha, but does it do FBM shipping costs too?
Sure does. That way you can keep your Q4 chaos totally under control and know your numbers, because not only does it do that, but it makes your PPC bids, it forecasts inventory, it sends review requests, and even helps you get reimbursements from Amazon.
Now that's like having a CFO in your back pocket.
You know what? It's just $15 a month. But you got to go to sellerboard.com/misfits, sellerboard.com/misfits. And if you do that, they'll even throw in a free 2-month trial.
So you want me to say, go to sellerboard.com/misfits and get your numbers straight before your accountant loses it?
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, a lot of Amazon sellers are fearful of Shopify because you've got that captivated audience and they're afraid of the fees, to have to go out there, and they don't have the expertise in marketing, email marketing, any form of marketing to drive traffic over to their site. And they don't realize how much or how many fees that they're actually paying Amazon. And those fees could easily cover the fees to go out and find that audience and own that customer.
100%. Yeah. It's like, not only are you paying Amazon a bunch of fees, you're missing out on the most important metric in our Shopify world, which is lifetime value. Okay. That doesn't mean on Amazon, you're not going to have repeat customers. You are, but you're not going to have an email list of people who can't wait to hear from you. Right. So I think in the Shopify world, that's one of the key things that we think about is like building your own list and how much value that brings. Like I always say in the Shopify world, a lot of the people that come find us, they already have product validation somewhere. So we meet people who are like, hey, I could sell on Amazon. And we want to know that. We want to know that you've sold products, people liked them, and they gave you a good response. As long as you have that, then you need to go out there and build your list. And that's usually like the first hard thing that people can't solve on Shopify is like, I've done everything. I don't know how to get sales. And then we teach them how to get sales. And then they're like, oh, this is different. Okay, now I see how it works. And then there's usually what I call like a scrappy middle on Shopify, where you figure out how to get sales. You have a little bit of money left over, a little bit of profit, but not enough to like replace your job or build wealth, right? So you need to grow the volume. And so there's this scrappy middle in the beginning where like every ad that goes out needs to bring back lunch. It's like, I'm running ads, I need to bring back sales. Lunch, running ads, need to bring back sales. Because you don't have a big email list, you don't have a big customer base. So it's a scrappy period of the business, the messy middle. But once you start getting your email list to like 1,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, I don't need to explain to you guys what that means. The email Jedi is over here, right? As you build your email list, it becomes like an ATM. And that's how you drive repeat business. So in our Shopify world, like I don't know what it is with margins on Amazon, but maybe it's like Amazon takes 30% or whatever it is.
In our 60% of every sale on Amazon goes to Amazon.
6%?
60.
There you go. Okay. There you go. In our world, we want to get to a place where your entire revenue, like under 30%, is going to ads. And so it only becomes a reality when you've like gone through that rough acquisition period to build your customer base. And then you start getting that 25 to 35% repeat business, emails driving sales. And like all of your sales aren't coming from ads anymore. They're coming from like the network, the community that you've built. You're getting referrals, you're getting repeat orders. And so there is like a really happy place on Shopify once the volume kicks in.
Why Shopify and not BigCommerce or WooCommerce? Or big, as what they're called now.
Big commerce.
Why Shopify over? If I'm going to go out and set up my own store outside of Amazon or TikTok Shop or Walmart.com, and to control this, why should I go with Shopify over one of those other two?
Because it's Canadian. No, I'm just kidding. No, so I don't know if you guys knew this, but like when our agency used to be an e-commerce agency, now we only work with Shopify stores. Okay, but we used to be like e-commerce. And not really your e-commerce. So not really like Amazon. It was always like build your own store, build your own list. That was kind of the way we were always doing it. So we used BigCommerce, Magento, WooCommerce, Squarespace in some instances. And what we found, and it's probably been like
no Yahoo store?
Yahoo, no.
I'm just kidding.
We didn't venture that far. Into the weeds.
GeoCities.
We did use Ecwid one time. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ecwid. But what we realized, and we've only been Shopify for about 6 years, where it's like that's all we do, is because Shopify has the largest third-party network out of any tool. Okay, so and that means they have like hundreds of people, if not thousands of like teams innovating the platform. Okay, and so they have the largest third-party developing ecosystem where they're always developing new solutions, upsells, cross-sells, loyalty programs, like anything you can really think of, product page builders, like all these kinds of things. And Shopify starts acquiring a lot of these businesses. And so we realized over time that like Shopify is by far the most innovative.
So just to explain that, it's kind of like Chrome extensions, just to put people on. It's almost like Shopify have its own, people know Chrome extensions, but the people that haven't were sold on Shopify, it's like there's all these extensions that do add-on things.
Yeah. It's like modular. And like every business is different, right? Like we help businesses that have like brick and mortar locations that run services out of their brick and mortar, and they also sell products online. So they're like, well, I need a store that can also allow me to book appointments. Okay, so Shopify doesn't come with like a default perfect appointment booking tool, but I can guarantee you can find an app that could do that. That's really great. So you kind of like, you can pick and choose different solutions as your model requires. And I'll say like the innovation part, like you can find anything. But the second thing, just to summarize, is like it's really easy to manage. Like if you're using not to like put down BigCommerce or Magento or these tools, but they're great. They're great for like, you know, some of them are better at B2B marketing. Some of them are better for different reasons. But the truth is, if you're using Magento and BigCommerce, you probably need a developer on staff. Whereas Shopify, you can just kind of make a lot of changes really easily yourself.
I'm not a web developer, but I can easily go into Shopify and do crazy things like install. One of them is a subscription form. All right. With bundles, with cross sells, and you could use Bold, and they have a bunch of different apps, or you could use Renew. Super easy. Click a button. There it is. It doesn't take a lot of work.
Favorite part? We're training, like Kevin was saying, we've trained thousands of Shopify stores to build out their campaigns, their websites, emails, ads. And most people are product people. Okay. They don't have like an extensive background in marketing like the three of us nerds here do, right? They're more like, I'm so used to like picking new products and this is all foreign to me. And so we're like, we need to pick a really universal, easy to manage tool. And because the truth is, like, I meet a lot of people who tell me, they're like, Scott, I'm like technically illiterate. I want to do your merchant mastery training program, but I'm technically illiterate. And to that I say, technically illiterate, why the heck would you choose a business that requires you to sell online if you're technically illiterate? And they usually say, okay, fine, you're challenging me. Okay, I can do it. And they usually figure it out. And so the point I'm trying to make to them is like, it's not as hard as you think, and you can actually do more than you assume.
We've gone and used Shopify a variety of different ways, but one of the coolest things and some of the easiest things to make a little bit of money, a little side hustle, is some of the plugins or extensions, apps, like Shine On. You can go and do incredible, like just print on demand companies, they're there, but it's just a plug and play. And all of a sudden you've got access to all this really cool jewelry that you can imprint. They have the gift boxes. If you can find a specific niche, boom, you're in business. Very easy. Now, I know most people that are going to be listening to this have a product or service that they want to go out there and sell. But if you just want to do a side hustle, I know a lady about 2 years ago went in, did a POD like on Shopify, was making $20,000 a month. And she didn't want to, this is just a part-time job. She was a teacher. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. I think I'm not trying to bash the idea of like, hey, I just want a side hustle. I need to pick a product. Mm-hmm. Do that. Pick a product, but just be prepared. I advise you to be prepared to become a nerd on that topic. Like, so pick something that you're kind of interested in at least.
Right.
Because this is one of the things I always say. I teach a lot of this, like, I have this story selling system that I teach where you want to like talk about your origin story and you want the customer to see themselves in that story and be like, I saw this problem and I thought I could do better. And you're demonstrating like how hard you fought to come up with the best solution. And so you want to position yourself as like the category nerd. And when people are reading it, like they don't need to do any research and look for competing products. They're like, this nutcase went through all of that. Like, why wouldn't I try this if that person's that crazy to go through those great lengths to create this solution?
You're talking about your research that you do with your avatar, right? Because that's crazy. I know that you've shown me this in the past where it's not just a simple couple of questions, but you really do some research. I remember the guy with, it was a kite or some sort of board.
Wakeboard.
Behind
the boat Bob.
Wow. It was so cool. I think it was actually on my podcast, you talked about it, but the story behind it. And then the other thing that sticks out in my mind, and maybe we can go down this as well, is there is something that I have programmed into my custom chat GPT that you taught me. And that is TBIF. I use that for everything. So I don't know if you want to just talk a little bit about the TBIF system that you've built out, but it's so cool.
Yeah. So one, just to answer your question about the research, I was thinking more like a customer who's weighing options and they're like, which one should I buy? I'm going to buy sea moss. I know that's a popular Amazon category. Yeah. I'm going to buy sea moss. Which one should I buy from? And then you hear the story about the person who's like, I literally swam in the Adriatic Sea and handpicked the best seaweed sea moss and like tested each one with my like 3-step tongue testing process before I picked the right. And you're like, what the heck? Am I going to buy sea moss from this person who's just, I don't know nothing about, or the crazy person who's swimming in the sea, like tasting things with their tongue? And that's what I meant about, like, I don't need to research options when I see this crazy person and I got to try that one. Okay. But yeah, and in addition to what you're saying, you're right. We do a lot of customer research. And this is really the way to get people to buy. When you're running ads, you're right. On Shopify, it's more expensive to like get customers initially because there's no built-in marketplace. There's nobody on Facebook searching for CMOS. Okay. And so you need to run ads, compel them to stop what they're doing, leave Facebook, and buy from you. Okay. And so we're required to just like get in front of people, compel them to take action. And so we need to like tap into their pain points, tap into their desires, build that desire with emotion, and get them to move. And so we do a lot of research, because if you don't understand the customer's pain points and most prominent desires, it's going to be a hard sell. I always say on Shopify or like anywhere, the hardest way to sell is to force people to care about what you sell, like force people to care about your products. The easiest way is to tap into the things they already care about and direct that desire onto your product. Okay. And so we do have a little formula, and this could be a good little takeaway. I always say when you're creating any kind of message, so if you're writing an ad, if you're creating an email you want to send out, if you're optimizing a product page, maybe even an Amazon listing, you always want to have 5 ingredients. It's a hook and then the TBIF value attributes. So the hook, that's the one where we're going to need to understand the customer's most prominent desires the most. And we call it out. And there's a whole other conversation about choosing the desire. That could be like a lengthy process. But one of the easiest ways to choose the desire is just think about what their average day is like without your product. And they're using an inferior alternative. And so it's like, yeah, I wish you could solve this, but this keeps happening, you know? And so you just call out the average day, call out the inferior product that they're using in the terrible situation. That's a good hook. And if you can read their mind and be like, hey, is this happening in your day? I can give you the quickest example. There's a woman we've helped for a long time. She's in our community still. She's in Toronto. Her name's Ilham. She has an eczema product. We say eczema in Canada. I'm sure you do too, Norm. But in the US,
I do.
Yeah, eczema in the US, I've learned. Okay. And so she has this product that helps with eczema. And she launches ads, like she solves it for her own son. She comes up with this product. He loves it. She's like, I'm going to help more people. She launches ads. They tank. I look at the ads and I'm like, what's going on here, Ilham? Like, I can see what's wrong. Can you? And she's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, your ads are talking to adults with eczema, but you have experience helping kids with eczema. You know the avatar better as the parent. And so I said to her, what's an average day like being a parent, having a child with eczema? And she was like, put her books down, stopped thinking about her store. And she's like, oh my goodness, Scott, I feel like I'm mastering black belt karate, always blocking my child from scratching himself. So that's an example of tapping into a pain point that happens in her average day without her product. So we created an ad, we created a hook. That's the first ingredient of the formula. And the hook said, do you ever feel like you're mastering black belt karate, always blocking your child from scratching themselves? That ad produced a 4 return on ad spend in her first week. And she had like dozens of people reaching out being like, oh my goodness, I didn't know other people knew what that was like. So the hook just needs to call out something happening in the average day that customer intimately knows and other people wouldn't necessarily know. Okay, so that's the first ingredient. And then basically once people see that, that's the hook. And they're like, what's going on? Who's reading my mind? Why do they know about my black belt karate situation? Okay. And then that's what starts to happen. Then what they do is they drill you through 4 lines of questioning. They're going to be like, okay, you help my child from scratching himself? How? So that's the first question they might ask. How do you help with that? Is it a vaccine? Is it a cream? Is it pills? Is it a diet? Oh, it's a cream. Oh, it's made by a chemist. And so the first line of questioning we address with what we call function attributes. It's how it works, how it's made, how you store it, how you use it, what you pair it with. Okay. But it's also ultimately about defining your unique mechanism, how your product is different than everything else out there to get the result. And then they're like, okay, got my attention. I get how it works. Do I trust this brand? Who sells it? And so you want to be like, hey, it's founded by a mom who's a chemist. We're on this mission. So you want to be sharing things like your values, your mission, the causes you support, your origin story. And then they're like, okay, got my attention. I get how it works. I like this company because of the brand attributes. That's the B. So we were going through TBIF. The first one I addressed was function. I'm going kind of backwards here. Function, and then brand. And then they're like, okay, you got my attention. Get how it works. Love the company. Is it legit? And that's the I in TBIF, influence attributes. So this is when you leverage like testimonials, social proof, magazines, certificates, awards. And then they're like, wow, okay, got my attention. Get how it works. Love what this company's about. Everyone's saying amazing things. The last question, is it worth the price? And so what we're trying to do is stack so much perceived value that it's a no-brainer. And they're like, yeah, this is a ton of value. I'm in. And so with that last one transaction, we usually like to take away a risk or add an incentive to incite action. And so it's like 30-day exchange policy, 10% off your first purchase. And when that, we call this a full offer stack, hook and TBIF, transaction, brand, influence, and function attributes. And when you got a good 5-part offer stack that resonates, you're going to get more people buying quicker.
That's good. What do you do on positioning? So define that one thing where you said the karate thing, but that may be one angle, but there could be 20 or 50 or 100 other angles that you might want to test. So do you recommend they actually take their product and like, what are all the different feelings, all the different emotions, or all the different problems I can solve, and test each one of those in a separate ad?
Yeah.
Where you're changing, basically it's the ad's almost identical, but you're just changing the hook.
Yeah.
I mean, they do this like on, an example would be on Amazon. If you're making a video, and now you can do this really easily with AI, and what I'm talking about with AI, and you're selling a cloth. If someone is searching for the word a cloth to dry their car after washing it, you want the first 3 seconds or 5 seconds of that video to show someone with a car wiping it down. And then the rest of the video can be the same. But if they buy that same cloth to actually dry their baby's butt, you're going to have a little baby crying or something in the first 3 seconds. The rest of the video is the same about the features. Or if it's about a cloth to dry off your dog, and you get my point, and you test those angles, and the features and all the stuff still stays the same. But I'm assuming that a lot of the traffic that you're recommending is coming from Meta. Is it maybe some other place that we can ask you about that in a second, but are you testing those different little positionings, and now how has AI affected the ability to test that at scale really fast and figure out what is that hook that's actually working?
That's it. I often call this like offer stack formulas, like creating omelets, like omelet for breakfast. And so I always tell people, I'm like, we're not trying to scale right now. We're trying to get an apron on, get out the skillet, sit in the kitchen. We're going to make a bunch of omelets, right? We're going to mix and match these ingredients. And so one day we're going to make like a pepper, ham, cheese. The next day it's green pepper, tomato, onion. The next day it's raw fish and basil. Okay. And we just like mix and match these ingredients of the offer stack. And then we serve them up to our audience to see which one's the fan favorite. And so for us in the beginning, when we do ad testing, we're like, we don't want to blow your budget. No one wants to spend thousands of dollars and walk away empty handed. We just have like a really small testing budget to get the omelets out there in front of the audience and see which ones are leading to sales. And then once you have that winning omelet, we're like, ooh, they actually liked the raw fish and basil. I wouldn't have guessed that. That's usually how it goes. You wouldn't have guessed the winner. And we're like, they like the raw fish and the basil. And then you start refining that. And your audience is like, I like the raw fish, but maybe not so much basil, maybe some cinnamon. And you just like keep refining it based on market feedback until you have a really high performer. And then we start cranking it up and scaling.
Are you looking to quickly boost new Amazon product launches or scale up existing listings to reach first page positioning? The influencer platform Stack Influence can help.
That's right. Stack Influence pushes high volume external traffic, sales straight to Amazon listings using micro influencers that you only have to pay with your products.
They've helped up-and-coming brands like Magic Spoon compete with Cheerios for top category positioning, while also helping Fortune 500 brands like Unilever launch their new products.
Right now is one of the best times to get started with Stack Influence. You can sign up at stackinfluence.com or click the link in this video down in the description or notes below and mention Misfits, that's MISFITS, to get 10% off your first campaign. stackinfluence.com. You're doing that just by ads and seeing which ads perform, or do people in the Shopify world do like in the Amazon world where they use tools like IntelliView or PickFu or Product Pinion to actually do testing of images and of angles and stuff, or is it all basically an ad-based test?
So today I had a full calendar. Like I was looking at my calendar last night and I was like, what the heck? I didn't even book a lunch today, but I saw that I was coming to hang out with you guys for an hour and a half. And this was the part of the day I was looking the most forward to. I was like, I can't get all that stuff done. I'm going to go hang out with Kevin and Norm because I always learn things from you guys. Right. So we don't use forums,
No, they're not forums. They're testing tools. They're survey tools that are really, really good for videos and images and testing positioning. And what we do is we test it there first. But what people say and what they do sometimes are two different things. But you can narrow it down pretty quickly and every one of these, like with PickFu, for example, they have to give you the reason they chose something. So if you have, hey, we're thinking about running these different positioning tests, and you have 3 different ads, they'll tell you which one resonates and why. Versus you don't get that on Facebook. You don't get the why. You just get the click or the sale, which is still important. But at least you can get the whys and go, I didn't think about this little, I don't know, the glasses over on the side of the table were annoying. I need to move them in the shot over a little bit further. And you can fine tune. And then you go and you actually put it on Facebook, the winners from there, and then test, the top 10 or whatever to actually narrow it down to what you're going to really run and scale with. It can be extremely powerful. Save a lot of time and a lot of money.
I want to connect with you guys after and talk about that, because our way around that, and you might have caught me hint at this earlier, is like, we can't help you unless you have product validation. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I said that earlier. It's like, we can't help people unless they've exchanged cash with at least 50 customers and confirm people like what they sell. And so we aren't the pre-validation people, but there's a lot of people asking us these questions. And
it's not so much a validation of, it could be for a new product, but they still need the 50 sales for you, but this is just a way to actually test ads, test new images.
Okay, so it's not just product; it's positioning.
No, you can do product. Yeah, you can. It's positioning, it's images, it's video, it's which color do you like better and why? It could be a whole. We're thinking about a 5-pan omelet set or a 7-pan omelet set. These are the pricing. Here's what it looks like on a face. Here's all my ads, and here's what it looks like running on Facebook or on Amazon is a better example. Here's in a marketplace, and you just typed in omelet pans, and here's 30 results. Your picture is like on the second row, third one from the right, but they don't know that. They're like, which one would you pick here out of all this whole list, and why? And they're like, oh, I would pick this one over here because of the price, or because I like the way the picture is, or I like the bonuses it came with, whatever it is. And then you say, oh, mine's not standing out. So I need to actually make some changes based on what they said, why they picked these others. I need to put a banner across it, or I need to emphasize that it comes with a free cookie sheet or whatever. It's very, 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 very good testing. And it's not super expensive, and it's almost instantaneous results.
I just want to add this. I've also used these services for TBIF. So when I do it, I'll come up with the hook. I'll come up with I usually come up with 5 different options, and I'll just mix them up. Because, one thing we didn't mention is with TBIF, you can mix and match. Like you don't have to go in in TBIF. You can mix it all up.
FBIT.
I've put, I just send it over. You could set up a what are they called? I could set up a campaign, and I can get 200 people, 100 people, 50 people to let me know which one is better. And so all of a sudden, you cut down some of that research, and you've got a bit firmer opinion about which one's gonna succeed.
I'm genuinely fascinated and interested to learn more about that tool. It's like
there's 3 of them. One of them's Product Pinion is Canadian too.
Okay.
So if you want to support the brothers, the brothers and sisters of Canada, you can go with Product Pinion. PickFu is a little bit more robust, but they're all good.
Okay,
so I was just wondering about that. If you're using that, so is the traffic source primarily Meta, or when someone says I need to drive traffic, what are you telling them if they don't have an email list, they're coming, say, from Amazon, and they've already done a validation of 50 sales. And they're like, okay, I need to do Shopify. I don't have an email list. I've never run ads in my life. What do I do?
Yeah. So we like to, so our agency, Socialite, as Norm pointed out earlier, we got Merchant Master where we mentor people. We got Socialite, which is an agency that does all the work for our clients. And we are like a top 3% Google advertising partner in Canada, Platinum Klaviyo partner. We do top Pinterest advertising partner. So we actually advertise on a ton of platforms. I don't know why I mentioned Klaviyo there, but we were top with Google, Pinterest, Snapchat. We always start with Meta. And one of the reasons why is because Meta and like TikTok as well, these are interruptive platforms where people aren't like searching for your products on those platforms. And so we use those tools to validate our positioning. Can we compel people to stop what they're doing and buy? Once we validate with Meta, then we have strong positioning, like messaging ingredients, the whole hook, TBIF, that we apply everywhere. Google Ads, website, email, product pages. And so it helps us compete better in Google once we're Google ready. I feel like you need to like validate the positioning, push it hard, get the right messaging. Because when you're going after that high intent search traffic on Google, they're just going to look between the options. And if your positioning is the best, it's like that tool you were saying, hey, our positioning is the best. I choose this one. And so I actually have a couple friends. Our mutual friend, Cossum, used to do this all the time. I got a couple friends that run Google agencies in like the UK. They'll always send me referrals and be like, Scott, they're not Google ready. And they know that these businesses need to work on the positioning, validate the strong messaging before they're going to win at Google.
So what about Google? How's the AI overviews affecting organic search on Google? I know it's Google Shopping, but how's it affecting, now you don't have a list of 10 blue links. You have an AI overview saying, this is the product. And you go buy it on Shopify, or go buy it on Amazon, or go buy the competitor's product. So
this is like an area that, we had a little chat before the session today where I was like all ears on what you guys were teaching me about being discoverable in chat, in like AI searches, right? AEO, answer engine optimization.
Yeah.
And so, I saw Shopify and a whole bunch of other, like Shopify just announced that you're gonna be able to buy on Shopify right through ChatGPT coming soon. I think you said they're starting with Etsy first. So I'm like all ears on going head first in that direction. But right now we see it happen. Like, we teach people to optimize their websites and product pages the best they can. So we see some of our clients showing up, but we're not like leading the charge on that front, I would say.
And the massive opportunity out there is with Shopify, not Amazon, because on Amazon, you can't control some of the underlying stuff under the engine that you need to do to optimize for AEO like you can on Shopify. And so that's why Norm and I are both telling everybody, you got to have Shopify. In fact, with our company, Dragonfish, we have 3 different levels of AEO packages. The middle level requires a Shopify site to work. Oh. If you don't have a Shopify site to work, it's not gonna be nearly as effective, because you have a lot of control, like we talked about earlier, where you can do a lot of these things with things like schema and LLMS.txt and some of the other stuff that you need to do on page to actually make it easy for the bots, because the bots don't want to come and scroll all 500 of your products. They don't want to go through everything. But if you make it in a certain way, in a certain format that you do this, they'll come in and go, thank you very much for making my job easier. I'm going to reward you for that. And I'm going to put you first. And now with agentic shopping coming, with you got Perplexity has their browser that's agentic. OpenAI has this quarter is coming with a browser that's agentic, where it'll do all the shopping itself. So and the analogy I always give, I think I might have told this on a different podcast too, but the younger generation trusts ChatGPT. You hear about all this hallucination, and you see people posting on things lying. It does make some stuff up from time to time, but the younger generation is choosing. I was at a show by Pattern back in May. I think that's why I couldn't come to your event, because it conflicted with this show that I was at. And Pattern is a $2 billion plus seller on Amazon, huge. And they put on their own show, and the founder was showing all the data that they analyze, and it's just mind blowing at the level of sophistication they have. But he said that, look, he has like 8 kids or something. And it's like, every time my kids turn 16, we buy them a car. within reason. We're not going to give them a Lamborghini, but we always tell them, hey, we recommend you buy a Chevy this or a Prius this or whatever. He said, my youngest daughter just turned 16 and she didn't want any of our recommendations. She went into ChatGPT and said, I'm a 16-year-old. I like to do this, 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 and this. What kind of car should I buy? And it spit out a Jeep Cherokee or whatever it was. And that's the car she wanted because she trusted it 100%. And so people, when it comes to e-commerce and Shopify, what I think is going to happen is you're going to start seeing the browsers become much more agentic and much more AI built into it. And like you just said earlier, the big difference is right now on Amazon is people go and they type keywords and they're looking for a commodity or they're looking for, they already know the solution. They're looking for they already know the problem. They're looking for the solution by keyword versus people are going to go to ChatGPT and they're going to type problems. I have a problem, burning my eggs in the morning, the omelet plan. What should I buy? What's a nonstick thing that will never burn it? And ChatGPT is going to spell, it's the X, Y, and Z omelet maker by this Canadian company. Would you like me to add it to your cart right now? And so that plays into the story. And it's becoming more important because everybody's ChatGPT is different. Yours is different than Norm's, is different than mine. It has your history. And so now knowing, you're talking about the story earlier, really diving deep and creating buyer profiles, not just avatars of this is their demographics, it's a woman 50 to 57, but knowing their passions and their emotions and their intent and their identity based stuff. And being it, because ChatGPT is going to customize the answer, you're going to get a different omelet pan than I'm going to get based on my past history of what's stored inside ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever it is. And so knowing what is your ideal buyer profile can change what ChatGPT gives you as the answer in the pan to buy. And knowing that plays all into the sequence of the storytelling and the pain points to actually optimize. And it makes it a little bit more difficult for the average seller, but for the sophisticated people, they have a massive advantage and can start crushing it. So the whole thing, I guess my point of this whole long rant is like everything is changing right now. And it's an exciting time to be in e-commerce, and especially if you're on the cutting edge of it, there's amazing stuff that you're going to be able to do.
Absolutely. And I can't, that's what we're all about at Merchant Mastery in our community. We bring in so many third-party experts on all these different topics. Would love to have you guys in our community talking about how to get discoverable in Chat GPT for certain. So we need to follow up on that. One of the things that we have because there's all these things that AI is solving, right? And so Norm, earlier when I had a tear jerk moment, remember that your glasses were steaming up, I was tearing up because you're like, you're always on the forefront innovating. And honestly, we have been. And so one of the things that we were preparing for in our world, because we're helping people run Facebook ads, interest audiences are going away. It's all AI based.
And it's like, right? TikTok's already done it, AI, and Facebook is next.
Yeah, and they have done it. It's supposed to have gone in effect in June, but we could still manually create interest audiences. So I'm just waiting for the day for it to disappear. But so what that means is all the targeting is done in the content and in the creative. And so this year in January, I taught this 3-month-long course about copywriting for the new content-based targeting. And so what I was doing was teaching people how to write long form direct response style ads for e-commerce, where it's covering all your bases. And it's basically telling Facebook, hey, this is who I help. This is how we're better. This is what we solve. And I taught this 3-month course. I was telling people, don't use ChatGPT for this, because in order for you to really get it right, you need to say things that people have never said. ChatGPT is only pulling things that other people have said. So I'm you need to differentiate what you're saying in a way that nobody's ever said. And so I taught this whole course. I was testing these ads in the real world, getting remarkable results. And I taught people how to write these long form ads. It took me 3 months. There's a whole bunch of our people in our community that went through the whole process. It was rigorous. And they were like, wow, I have some of my best performing ads of all time. There was a whole bunch of other people who were like, Scott, I hate you because you make this look easy. I'm not a natural copywriter, or English isn't even my first language. And so the next 6 months, that was January, February, March of this year. The next 6 months, I've been building a custom GPT. I'm sure you guys do lots of custom GPTs and different AI tools, but I was I need to build a custom GPT that interviews people. And so the only way I'm going to make a good ad is if I interview them about their unique selling features, their founder story, their unique mechanism, stats and claims that they can make about their product, like just things that only they could say. And so I built this whole story selling. I call it the story selling AI. And I've spent 6 months building this thing. And I just launched it like 3 weeks ago. And Norm, funny enough, it's like TBIF on steroids. So it's still the same formula, hook and TBIF, but it goes like miles deeper. Because sometimes when I'm teaching people the hook and TBIF formula, they go too surface level. And it's not hard hitting enough. It's not differentiated enough. And so I built this like pretty wild system. And I uploaded like 40 pages of instructions to this thing, formulas, templates, like rules, guardrails, all the things that you guys would know about. And we just launched like 3 weeks ago. I've had like in the last 4 days, I had like 4 people tell me they created their best performing ad of all time. And it's
publicly available or just in your community?
I came with gifts today, guys. I came with gifts. And so I'll show you guys some of these screenshots later. I'll just send it to you on Instagram or something. But people are like, oh my goodness, Scott, I haven't had an ad perform this high in like months to years. Or, oh my goodness, I'm getting a sale a day and I checked back in with her and she's doing 2 sales a day. Or Carolyn was telling me best performing ad of all time. And so the way that, excuse me, I had initially built it just for the community, but I was at Ecom North last week and I did a live demo there. And thankfully, it went remarkably well. And I decided to give everybody there access to the GPT. And my team, in helping me prepare for the session today, was like, hey, we should give away the story selling AI to the Marketing Misfits podcast crowd. And so I am going to be sharing that with everybody. And it'll be great. It'll be fun.
Well, fantastic. Thank you.
Now, I have a question for you on that. Do they have to opt in to get that?
I'm not sure. Like opt in on a landing page?
Yeah. Do they have to give like an? I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying. It leads to my next question or my next point. Do they have to opt in to actually use the GPT?
I think.
I know when they go to ChatGPT, they have to have an account or whatever. But I'm just talking about like to get the link or to get the access to it. Is there an opt in, or is it just like here, scan this QR code and it takes you straight to it?
I think our team set it up so you opt in.
Okay. Something you could consider doing is because that's a wall that you can give them the opt-in option. And then the people that don't opt in, or you could say opt in, and then right below it, you say something like, no, not now or whatever, not feeling like it right now or something. And then half the people or more will probably hit that because like, I don't want to be in his list. But if you put on that page, you put DataZap or retention.com on that page, you'll get 60% of those email addresses that give you the email address anyway, and then you can follow up with them instantly and put them into your Facebook and restart retargeting them right and within hours on Facebook. You can do some really cool stuff. I'm doing that. I have a LLM for my entire content library. That's like over 1,000 pieces of content. Every podcast, this podcast, my other podcast, my events, my WhatsApp channel is indexed in there. So I export the WhatsApp channel every week and I import it in there because there's a lot of people helping each other in the WhatsApp channel. And I was going to put it behind a wall for what you came on, the BDSC, the club that I have, that you came on a few weeks ago.
That was great.
I was going to put it just in there, but I'm going to leave it in there with some extra bells and whistles, but I'm putting a slightly reduced version out for free at a different URL. It's just a dupe and get people to use it. And hopefully it goes viral. And with the sole purpose of putting that DataZap on there to capture email addresses. Because I put that on, I have another version of it that's text-based. It's a content hub. So you just go, it automatically pulls in the podcast and everything and automatically on a cron job. And you could just type keywords. It's keyword-based, but it's not conversational-based like an LLM. And just in the last month, I've gotten 444 leads, new email addresses off of that just by using this tool. And I haven't really pushed it out there very much. It's like a lot of people are just stumbling upon it. But as soon as I start marketing, I'm waiting for the LLM version to be ready, which is like 3 days from now. When you're listening to this podcast, it's ready. But
guys, I think I'm here to learn more from you guys.
So but you can do stuff like that as well.
But Kevin, we also like run a VSL, like for Merchant Mastery, we run paid ads to our own landing pages, meetup landing pages.
Yeah, you need that on everything. You need that on every landing page. That tool, it's 5 cents. It's 5 cents a lead. is what I
That's
think.
incredible. Yeah, we I think we have like a 25 to 30% opt-in rate. And so there's like 75% of the people who are not on the list. They'll be on our like retargeting pixel.
Yeah, you have them retargeting pixel, but you can get their email address and their physical mail address.
Incredible. Oh, I like the physical mail. You can like
This works in the US.
Yeah.
Canada, it might work in Canada, but it's technically against privacy rules of Canada.
Yeah, we do tons of advertising in the US. Tons.
But it's a US thing.
Cool.
All
Very
right, we're
cool.
getting down to the end of the program. I want to go down a different rabbit hole for this. And this is about investing in your company. So when we first met, we were at an event together and we started talking. And one of the things that I loved hearing was we started talking about growth and how you're just growing 10 times, how fast you're going. And what you did is you invested a ton of money in this mentoring program. And, you know, when I first heard the amount, I'm not going to say it, but it's a large amount of money. And what it's done for you to now cross the chasm, you know, you've been able to go from a small, medium to a large agency. And how did that happen? Because you invested in learning the systems.
I believe so much in mentorship. Yeah, I think like, you know, I've done it the other way before, where you think you're going to figure everything out through trial and error. And like hundreds of thousands of costly failures later, you're like, I wish somebody could have just shown me how to do this the right way the first time. And so I do enjoy investing a lot in mentorship, not just one program. I think I've invested in maybe 6 programs in the last 4 years. And it's helped me adopt skills quickly, implement things and get it working fast. And so I'm a big proponent of mentorship. I very much believe that if there's something that you want to do and you want to get it right, learn from somebody who's done it before that you trust to save yourself all those extra years of costly failures along the way.
Yeah. And all that's going to happen is it's going to pay off.
It does.
You know? It pays off. You have to trust it. You have to trust the system. And like you said, you have to trust the person. If you don't know it, you've got to do your own research on this. But we've all done it. I know Kevin has, I have, you have. We've invested a lot of money into mentorship, coaching, networking groups, but it gets you there quicker. And especially the system you got for merchant mastery, you exploded.
Yeah, if you actually like Google, this is a challenge for anyone. If you Google merchant mastery reviews, you'll find like this forum on Shopify's website. So you have to have a Shopify store to leave a review there. So this is all like real people, real businesses. You'll just read the most remarkable reviews. Actually, if you look up merchant mastery reviews, the little AI thing that pops up in the search, it's like merchant mastery has an overwhelming amount of incredible reviews. and it's honestly people just sharing their experience. And they're like, oh, I tried hiring an agency. It almost sunk my business. I tried doing this and I was stuck and I was hitting a wall. And it's like, yeah, it's a lot of work in merchant mastery. But one of the things that I've prioritized as being someone who's invested a lot in mentorship programs, I think the thing that helps people get results is actually working with people. So we have like a radical level of support, working with mentors, getting on one-on-ones, reviewing your ads, reviewing your product pages, pushing you to do better, monitoring everything. Because the last thing you want in a community where you're teaching people to run ads is people not getting sales with ads. That is probably the top nightmare scenario you could be in, where everyone's just complaining like, hey, this isn't working. Hey, that, you know, like, you don't want that. You don't want that. And so we like really committed to making sure that if people are under our watch, they're under our guidance and they're running ads, they're performing. And so we always have this goal is like, we need people to break even or do better than break even within the first week or two, or else you can't stay in the game. And so I think it's like really mentoring, showing people how to do things with training videos, but where the real value is having like, we got like our agency team in our mentorship program, coaches from around the world in our mentorship program that are actually like pushing you to do better, reviewing your work and like shaping things up with you.
Hey, Kevin King and Norm Farrar here. If you've been enjoying this episode of Marketing Misfits, thanks for listening this far. Continue listening. We got some more valuable stuff coming up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast player, or if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, make sure you subscribe to our channel because you don't want to miss a single episode of the Marketing Misfits. Have you subscribed yet, Norm?
Well, this is an old guy alert. Should I subscribe to my own podcast?
Yeah, but what if you forget to show up one time and it's just me on here? You're not going to know what I say.
I'll buy you a beard and you can sit in my chair too. And you can go back and forth with one another. Yikes! But that being said, don't forget to subscribe, share it. Oh, and if you really like this content, somewhere up there's a banner. Click on it and you'll go to another episode of the Marketing Misfits.
Make sure you don't miss a single episode because you don't want to be like Norm.
Oh. You've got a very active community. You know, I know I've spoken to people in the community and they just bombard you with questions, you know, so it's nice to have an engaged community.
Yeah, I think like that event I invited you guys both to come speak at, we were hosting our mastermind event at Shopify's event space in Soho in Manhattan. And it was a great event. And a lot of people traveled, and you guys probably experienced this too. I know you guys have like the most amazing Amazon events around, like in Iceland and Austin and all over. But everyone, like people were staying with each other, you know, like they're renting out Airbnbs together. And I think like that the sense of community is one of those like surprising things that you didn't know how much you were going to appreciate when all of a sudden you're like, I joined this program and now I have colleagues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, community is important too in this AI world, and it can be lonely sometimes selling online. And a lot of people don't understand it in your family and stuff. What are you doing? Go get a real job. So having a community of people that understand and they get you is super important.
Totally. I agree. And it's really rewarding seeing people like band together, solve each other's problems, working with coaches, working with each other. And honestly, like at Merchant Mastery, we have two tiers, our programs. We have like an undergraduate and a graduate. So in our undergraduate, we're like, you shouldn't join the undergraduate unless you have product validation. But as long as you do, the first thing we're going to do is build a prototype of your sales engine. And it's slow. It's not like spend thousands on ads. It's like test, build. But once you hit like a 10 or 20K month, now we're like, oh, not only do they have validation, they built a prototype with a sales engine. We could totally scale this to 100K a month. So we have like this graduate level second program that's teaching you Google and it's teaching you SEO. And you guys, Norm has a training in there about Amazon and Walmart. And like we teach everybody everything else you need to do. But it's been rewarding. It's been amazing. We have like a pretty good track record of taking care of people, helping them at those early stages, which is like the hardest part, and getting them to like safety.
Who's your most successful? What level is your most successful student been to? Are they at 50 million, 100 million? Are we sold their company for $1 billion?
Okay, so this one, there's two things here. So one, we also have an agency, right? And so there is a lot of the time where people go into our mentorship program, they hit 10K a month and like, whoa, I've been trying to do that for years. and then we help mentor them to 100K, and then they'll go hire our agency. And we'll grow them to like $1 million months over at the agency. But if you're thinking just somebody who never hired our agency, mentorship, but I'm thinking within the last year, we have a business who we've just mentored to the point of like $500,000 a month. But it is more common that once they get to those higher levels, they're like, okay, I need to delegate this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. It is that time. We're at the top of the hour. And Scott, can you give everybody your contact information?
Yeah, absolutely. So do you want me to share the GPT, the tool?
Sure.
Okay, so this is the StorySelling AI for anybody who's listening and you go test it out. Obviously, I've just launched this a few weeks ago, so I'd love to hear from you. The AI tool is, my team just told me this like a couple hours ago. It's merchantmastery.io.
Okay. I'm writing it down too.
Yeah, merchantmastery.io/GPT.
Oh,
okay. And yeah, like, and just some tips for everybody going through that. It's gonna teach you the way I taught the course when I was doing it earlier in the year. So it'll be like, hey, there's 5 parts of this story. We're going to go through each section. I need you to approve or edit each section before moving on. So it comes in chunks, and it's going to ask you questions in chunks. So just copy the questions, paste them in where you type your questions, and just fill it out that way. You kind of got to like copy and paste the questions for each section. But by the end, you're going to have like this full on story. Would love you to send it over to me. I don't know what's the best way. Maybe email me, scott@merchantmastery.io.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that.
All right. We are at the top of the hour. Like I said earlier, we always have one question for our misfit. We want to know if you know a misfit.
I have like 3 incredible women in mind. You may have had 1 or 2 of them on your show before. Okay. So Lauren Petrullo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we know Lauren. Yeah.
Molly Mahoney.
We've had her.
Yeah.
Monique Morrison.
Oh,
That one we have.
Monique's awesome. Yeah.
I love Monique specifically. So I always think about people who are doing something that I'm just admire more than anything I've seen anywhere. And so Monique is like remarkable at building automated systems for mass content production for social media. She uses, what is that tool called? It starts with a T, or Airtable. She uses Airtable, and she built these systems where it's like, here's your one pager, build out this thing, builds the content, sends it to somebody for approval, sends it to the designer. Like I'm talking like mass scale organic content production. And I've seen other people do it too. And I've like bought courses where people do this because we were trying to learn the system. But Monique has really built an incredible system doing that. I would recommend her. Monique Morrison, Marketing Misfit. That's 4 M's.
All right, Scott. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you for the GPT. That's awesome as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate that.
You bet, guys. No, hey, always a pleasure. Really appreciate everything you guys are doing. Thanks for teaching me something today as well.
Yeah, well, no problem. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here. We're here to help each other. That Norm's always got, he's always teaching me something. That's right. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Let me swallow my Coke Zero and I will remove you.
Scott's always full of good stuff, and that giving out that free GPT, that's amazing, man. That's really cool.
Great.
So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Those of you that stayed this long in the podcast, you got a little really nice surprise gift there. That
No.
Gonna make you money.
No. What you normally say is, you got a little Scooby snack.
Oh, that's right. That's Scooby. You got a little Scooby snack. You got a little. That's actually, I stole that from Steve Simonson. But you got a little Scooby snack. That's not. I can't lay claim to that trademark. But no, that Shopify. There's a massive opportunity there, as you can see, and we just barely touched the surface in this podcast on what you can do on Shopify and where that's going. But if you want to learn. And learn how to do it and have someone kind of help you and guide you along the way. Like you said, mentorship, Scott and his company, Social Light, there's probably nobody better out there doing it.
Yeah, and Merchant Mastery for sure.
And Merchant Mastery, yeah, exactly.
All right. How do we get a hold of what we do, where we publish?
You go to marketingmisfits.co, not .com, but .co, and you can find the latest episodes. A new one comes out every single Tuesday, or you can subscribe to us on YouTube or Shopify or Apple Podcast or wherever you get your favorite podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and that just shows the algorithm that, hey, people like this podcast, and that helps us get the word out there a little bit more. So more people can learn and hear all the crazy cool stuff, and hear me bust Norm's bahoonies sometimes as well.
Bahoonies, that's a good one. My bahoonies.
And then we're on the talk tickers or something, right? Too, Norm?
Yeah, we are on TikTok. We're doing really well on TikTok. So we started about 2 or 3 months ago, and we've got just some great content there from our guests. And also, we should mention over at YouTube, I know you mentioned that you can go and check it out over on YouTube, Marketing Misfits podcast, but we have another channel that just specifically takes the nuggets out of each episode. They're 3 minutes or less, and that's over at Marketing Misfits Clips. So check that one out as well.
Awesome. Hey, we'll be back again next Tuesday with another episode of the Marketing Misfits. And if you're bored in between then and now, or now and then, go and check out some of the past episodes here at Marketing Misfits on the channel and listen to those. Some valuable nuggets in there too. Hey, Norm, I'll see you again next week.
All right. Very good, Kev. See you later.
Ciao. Peace.